Hello.
You can feel lonely.
Hello.
You can feel really alone. Especially when you live in an envy-driven society. Loneliness becomes a widespread disease. Because envy people are not a nice, comfortable, or warm company. Imagine everyone around you checks math, but you don't. Imagine everyone checks English, but you don't. And imagine they cannot teach it to you, because how much they try, they don't get through you. They don't understand you from within, from where they are trying to reach out to you. Where do you stand? Hello? Where are you? You are lonely.
Imagine you've always been good at running or diving deep, very deep into the ocean. But many don't get how it is possible for you because they are so good at math and English and not at running or diving deep. So you feel lonely again.
And this is what your reality is all about. And it is what their reality is all about.
It's about numbers, sharing information, and a certain result. And they are good at things you're not so good at. Small talk, staying on the surface, fake it until it is made. Knowing what's best to say when and what to keep quiet, even if this means they have to lie to you. To say exactly what the other person needs to hear in their eyes, even if they don't mean it that way.
Those things you just cannot do. It's against your nature. When you feel lonely in such situations, because you can see through the acts, because you're diving very deep, because you don't feel its purity, because the mask doesn't inspire you to be your best self.
Because it's not real. Because it's a game. And you don't like games. You brush them away. If that's the reason today why you feel lonely, welcome to the club. You're not alone. And there aren't that many who are like you. And that's why this episode is for you. To integrate the wound and pain of loneliness once and for all.
Hello, this is Joypun.
And you can search for answers as much as you want. I will give you the spoiler. After decades, you probably will still be searching, if that's your search to find the answer, through other people.
You will not be able to find what you want to hear within yourself on the outside. You have the answer in yourself. You cannot find it in the other. So what do I mean? You want to connect with others. You wish a truth-based society. In other words, you wish addicted people to stop being addicts all at once.
And I use this example because I live in a society where people are addicted to lies, addicted to untruth, because society is built on it, creating status, money, power, on the basis of untruth, making the value of a person dependent on these aspects is already the lie we tell ourselves.
External factors to determine our worth is a lie. And this situation started many centuries ago and will continue until humanity fully awakens. That means people are addicts because their ancestors were addicts. ancestors were addicts, and so on. This has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the general attitude of society, of lying to each other, and the addiction to sexual energy, power, money, status, and body.
We are all guilty in some shape or form. The question is, how do you want to break this generational trauma?
If you really feel lonely, it's probably because you long for the truth you feel deep down inside. Because you're connected to everything and everyone so deeply that you feel lonely. You got that. This is what you think and believe about your existence, that we are all connected. And you experienced situations that have had confirmed this to you. You are already ahead of most of those around you, with knowing and feeling that you are connected to everything and everyone. Do you realize how far you've come with your awareness?
Did you know that roughly 80% of humanity doesn't think and feel the way you do? Of course you feel lonely in a society like this. You're human. You've come further than most.
And if you don't lie to yourself, you will realize that you're driving faster, flying higher, and you are probably more relaxed about the things that can happen. Because you have realized this truth that you are connected to everything. Everyone is connected to you. That's the truth. If you believe that by yourself you are lonely, because most people cannot believe that truth, and you are a social being that loves to belong on mental and emotional levels as well, not only spiritually. You want to connect mentally and emotionally to people who don't. So now you believe that, and you feel connected to everyone, but they don't feel connected to you.
You feel that no one feels connected to you in the depths in which you flow. Is that so? You feel connected to everyone and you feel that somewhere you don't feel connected to people either. As soon as they open their mouths. As soon as they are not present. As soon as they are emotionally unavailable. You suddenly feel their death.
These are the conditions that pull you out of your connection. That's the problem. Because they feel like death to you. You lose your connection. I have very often tried to look for the problem on the outside and not to point to myself. Sometimes I do that. I catch myself doing that.
Because that is what we learned to do with others, to point the fingers onto them. And I realized that I was making myself smaller. Because I was waiting for others to grow in order to continue growing. The others were the problem because they are so slow.
And that's how I realized how stupid I am. And I pointed the finger at myself. I said, I'll stop wishing for the whole world to stop being addicted to lies. And instead, I'll start not being addicted to the world anymore.
Because I cannot expect the world to be healthy. Everyone has to decide for themselves if they want to be truthful or not. What you can do is to expect of you to be with you and to do it better than the others, if that is your wish. I even took steps and asked individuals to stay addicted if it makes them happy. Please be addicted. Please be a liar. Because I mean it. I only say things I mean. When I insult you, I mean it with all of my heart. But when I'm nice to you, I mean it with all of my heart. And I think that's okay. We are human. Everyone is angry. Everyone is imperfect. Everyone is sad. Everyone is afraid. Everyone is happy. We all have that within us. If not, you are not a human. But being authentic means to be blissful and safe. That's another truth. in this world, I have never met a person who is that far in their consciousness that they have overcome these worldly things. Although they can leave their bodies to spy on others, people can do that. You can learn that too, by the way. None of them are free from ego. Because that's hard. None of us are 100% blissful on cloud 9, like a holy angel. But we have those moments and those hours, days and weeks and months where we feel like blissfulness all the time. There is the possibility, nothing to deny, but I like to consider the whole reality. And there is the contrast of life in which we are repeatedly confronted with our actual desires. And sometimes we get caught when we forget that we are connected to everything, when we forget who we are.
And most of the time, we forget that we have come so much further. And every time we believe that we are connected to everything and everyone, we understand that our successful being, the problems with it, become greater, and the challenges too. And your problems will teach you a lot to grow. To learn to be more safe is the ultimate goal. That means the more you feel the truth, the more you confront yourself with the truth, the lonelier you can become. Because you suddenly realize that you are on this earth with many trees at the same time. And imagine you are one of the healthiest trees all over the world, and every other tree has some issues, diseases, is ill. So that's the challenge now. Are you ready for this shift? Now if you stand there as a tree and look at the other trees and see them as sick, then you will feel sick yourself.
Because it's not your job to stand there as the healthiest tree on earth and judge the others. Oh, you poor little tree, you're so sick here and you're so sick there. Oh, your branch is terribly bent, and so forth. Because that will only make you lonelier. You are not here in this world to judge others who are not perfectly fit and healthy. On the contrary, you are here because you want to be healthy and safe, and to look at the other trees from your eyes in such a way that they feel healthy when they are around you. But for that you also have to recognize that's why I don't hold a grudge against you at all. If you don't already do that, you have to recognize for yourself that you are possibly the healthiest tree where you are standing when you feel lonely.
And you can see through the whole game. If you see through the whole game and don't feel like lying, manipulating, controlling, when you are serving for love, when you are humble and want everyone around you to feel safe, then you've come a long, long way with your consciousness. If you think things could be better, then it's time to take the responsibility, to take care about your surroundings. For this, you have to be very open yourself, to be interested in the environment, and not only to be interested in yourself. If you're not like me, but if you're interested in your surroundings, that's expansion. And that's exactly why you have a much greater responsibility. And if you still have no idea how big the responsibility is, then hold on to something now. This responsibility is huge because your consciousness has already come very, very far. If you are interested in the environment around you, then don't do it like a good tree, like a do-gooder who sees something sick in the other. Because then you look at existence with sick eyes. You look at these people with sick eyes, and if you look at the environment with sick eyes, then the trees and the people feel sick. Because they can feel what you think, what you feel. Because you are feeling it yourself in the moment. And when you feel it yourself, it becomes real. And now guess what happens? You go to the sick level that you don't like yourself. How is it there to be sick? Believing this kind of illusion. I know that in a social context, it's sometimes even easier to make friends and have conversations about negative, sick things. Look at the success
of the news.
press people. It was drummed into us that negative views and perspectives were completely normal.
We have been taught that this is quite realistic to connect with other people from a dramatic negative level, where the problem turns into God and the solution will never be reached, because you need the problem to feel divine and to feel needed. That's why there are so many sick people at the doctors today, because the doctor looks at them with sick eyes. Few doctors look at you with healthy eyes. That is normal. And then you come and tell me you don't want to be that realistic. You want to be idealistic and make the world a better place. And that starts within yourself, including me, including the doctor and the cashier and the presidents of the world. We all have a lot to learn. I know a healthy way, and I invite you to follow it. In fact, if you feel lonely, there is no point in blaming others and society for it. It doesn't do you any good to see others as something sick, negative, or a problem. This makes you negative yourself. You become a problem yourself. And you might think I've worked so much on myself. I finally want to see a result of my vision to find cool people I can hang around with and just not feel so lonely anymore. A reality where people are on the same level, and I finally want to see myself. After so many years in a community where everyone wants to get along as a team and resolve conflicts with each other as quickly as possible. Because what spirit gives them is more important than the ego.
And you just wanna feel grounded on this earth, around other grounded people. That is your sense of profit.
And you wipe your glasses because you recognize that you see people as sick. You take your glasses, you wipe the glasses, and then you watch the people who are disabled in wheelchairs. When you're seeing them with your new eyes, with your clean eyes, you suddenly recognize that they move exactly as they have to move at that moment. Who says a disability is a bad thing?
A lot of
What
compassion.
if this disability
Learned to
that the other
surrender.
person brings to this
Have
earth,
learned
what if
to
this
serve this
disability is
person.
the
Have
reason
learned
that
to
the
open their
people
hearts.
around this person
Learned
have
to look
become
at the
more
world from a
conscious?
new perspective. Now, is this disability of that person a bad thing when it helps so many people to expand their consciousness? Can it be that the disabled person with their disabled body, just the way they are, causes others to think and feel differently?
Could it be that the disabled person influenced the others positively? I invite you, the next time you see a disabled person, to see them in such a way that you realize they move just as perfectly as they need to move to change the world. You can think that if you wanna take responsibility for your surroundings, and if you wanna learn to see with healthy and sane eyes, that you can accept everything as it is, that you can learn to accept everything as it is, to see the health in it as is. That's what Jesus' secret was.
He was able to regulate his inner reality, his emotional world, in such a way that he remained sane and clear. And when you're in your right mind, you're also more aware when you're producing your thoughts. Your thoughts are the product of your mind. You have the pen in your hand, and when you write and produce your thought, that means you can create them consciously. When you know what you are doing with your mind, then you are aware of the feelings and you are producing with your thinking your feelings. And when you are so aware of your thoughts and therefore your feelings, then you realize that the world is going by your thoughts and feelings directs. And suddenly you see everyone just as they are, as healthy as they are. And suddenly the people who come to you feel healthy. They feel seen, they feel heard, they feel understood. They suddenly received a healthy injection from you through your thoughts and feelings. Now the magic is activated in their system, in their consciousness. And when that happens, when the system activates in them, and when it activates in their subconscious, the self-healing powers are activated. Because every one of us is a self-healing machine. Now you remembered the truth with your consciousness and you consider everyone as healthy. Now they are activated. Even though they obviously look sick in the eyes of society. In your eyes, they look healthy in that moment. Because you know their existence is a purpose for expansion.
Imagine even though you obviously look disabled, because you're sitting in a wheelchair. Even though all these conditions are there to look like sick, someone like Jesus comes along and looks at you like you're the most normal, healthiest person on earth, who can run fast, who can walk straight, who can go. And Jesus looks at you with these eyes. Imagine you feel the health through his eyes, and suddenly your subconscious thinks, my gosh, I knew there's something in me that just needs to be activated. It can't be that I'm so handicapped. I just need love. The love that activates me even in my weaknesses. I remember this magical power, this magical healing power.
There are many witnesses around you and they see that Jesus just looks at you with healthy eyes, and suddenly you get up and you run for the very first time in your life. This is what Jesus did.
With blind people as well. He looked at the blind with his eyes. He looked at the blind with his healthy eyes. The blind didn't even see that he looked out of his healthy eyes, because the blind were blind, but they felt it. Because everything in this universe is energy. Suddenly they can see again. Suddenly they can see again, because it is noticeable in the energy field of the universe that we are all connected. That means if you think sick of people, they will stay sick and get sicker. If you think good and healthy about people, if you can even think like Jesus about them, then those around you will be healed by your touch and view. And suddenly the blind can see again, and the paralyzed can walk again. And they are no longer disabled. When you stay true to yourself, when you are true to yourself, then you can be a wonder, because you feel the clarity and the truth that holds this universe together beyond you, that we are all connected.
I want to read out this Psalm of David for you, but I'm not religious. I just love some religious texts because of the essence that religions try to teach us. A Psalm of David: The Lord is my shepherd.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Amen. Until next time, Joypun.k.